Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's press conference to announce the new head coach of Rutgers football, Greg Schiano. We are joined today by Governor Phil Murphy, Rutgers Athletics Director of Athletics, Pat Hobbs, and Rutgers University President, Dr. Robert Barchi. They will provide opening statements followed by remarks from Coach Schiano. We will then open the floor for questions to Coach Schiano. If you wish to ask a question, please raise your hand and wait for one of the two microphones in the audience. I ask that you please identify yourself by your name and affiliation prior to asking your question. Following the Q&A session, we'll have a brief photo op with Coach Schiano and Pat Hobbs. At this time, please welcome Rutgers University President, Dr. Robert Barchi.
Well, thank you so much. It is a pleasure for me to be here and what I think is a really auspicious occasion for Rutgers. And I must say, I can't remember more excitement in a press room. Well, maybe I can back 8 years ago, but not in recent history. And I can't remember ever an occasion where I've seen more excitement from our fans and our alumni and our supporters than I have in regard to this particular event. And I think it's entirely fitting that as we end the celebration of the birth of college football 150 years ago, right here at Rutgers, that we're also making an announcement like this. And it's fitting in the year that we celebrate the centennial of Paul Robeson, one of our greatest football players, that we welcome back to the banks one of the greatest football coaches that we've ever had, as we make our next step in a resurgence towards national level competition and take our rightful place at the top of the Big Ten. Greg Schiano has had so many signature moments during his 11 years that he served here at Rutgers in the beginning of his career. Our first college bowl game, pandemonium in Piscataway, his heroic efforts to support Eric LeGrand and his family, our 1 year as the #1 in the country in our academic performance and progress rate. So, Greg, it is just such a pleasure to have you back at Rutgers, and we know that this is going to be a tremendous time for us. It represents a quantum step forward. We talk about incremental progress at Rutgers. Everything we do is built on what we've done before. But every once in a while, you take a step that's more than just incremental. You take a step that makes a statement. Take a step that says, we are going somewhere much further than where we have been. And this marks one of those occasions. I reckon this to be one of the biggest steps forward that we are making in terms of our intercollegiate football program, and I'm delighted to be here as part of Rutgers to welcome Greg Schiano back. I want to thank everybody who's been involved in this search. It's been a stressful process for everyone involved. It's taken a tremendous amount of time from Greg Brown, the chairman of our governing board's athletics committee, and from Pat Hobbs. And I really want to publicly applaud Pat Hobbs for what has been just a tireless effort, or maybe I should say exhausting effort, and what he has done as our athletics director. He's done so many things to make Rutgers athletics and Rutgers athletics facility truly Big Ten worthy. So thank you very much, Pat. And now it's my honor to introduce a leader who has always been in Rutgers' corner, who has supported us in so many ways since he took office, and who joins me in my optimism for Rutgers football, an individual who is my friend and colleague, and that's our Governor, Phil Murphy. Phil?
Thank you all. Good morning. It is a real honor for me to be here alongside President Bob Barchi, and thank you for your gracious words, Athletic Director Pat Hobbs, Greg Brown, representing the Board of Governors. I'm extraordinarily pleased to join everyone here to welcome Coach Greg Schiano back to the banks of the old Raritan, back to the university that gave him his start in collegiate coaching, and back to the state that he calls home. I also want to give a shout out to the elected officials, the dignitaries, the members of the Rutgers family with us today. Eric LeGrand in particular, great to see you as always, my friend. And for Greg, like any great leader, it takes a village. So to his family, his wife Christy is here, his son Joe, and also not here, their other children, John, Matt, Katie, his mom and dad. To each of you, great to have you with us as well. We all came together, and we are all here today under a common belief that a successful Big Ten football program will be a tremendous source of pride for Rutgers University. Rutgers University, in turn, is a tremendous source of pride for our entire state. And this is truly a unifying moment. We know a successful program will not only attract more top student athletes to Rutgers University, but it will attract more students to Rutgers University, and with it, more people to New Jersey as a whole. Rutgers also has some tremendous and generous boosters, and we also know very well that they're not afraid to share their opinions. And I know that many of them are eager to be a part of building a stronger foundation for this program and this university's future. I've had the opportunity to talk with Coach Schiano multiple times over the past weeks. I would not have been as involved in this process unless I too was convinced that Coach Schiano is the right man, both for this job and for Rutgers University. Through our talks, Coach Schiano and I found that we're both born under a similar star. We both know that everything Rutgers needs, not just to be competitive, but to contend in the Big Ten, is right here in New Jersey. Strong in-state recruiting was the hallmark of the first Schiano era at Rutgers, and I know it will be the hallmark of this program once again. New Jersey's high schools have long been renowned for producing some of the best college football student athletes in the nation. And I know we now have a better chance again to have the best football players in New Jersey seriously consider Rutgers and keep them here at home. Likewise, we have the very best public schools in the country, literally number one. And I know even more of our graduates will have their eyes opened to the possibilities of a Rutgers education. And along with them, students and student athletes from across the country will now look at Rutgers knowing that this university will be able to compete at every level with any other school in the Big Ten or any other major conference with strong leadership both on the field and in the classrooms. This university already stands with the very best in the entire nation in terms of academics. It is one of America's great public teaching and research universities. We want students to know that Rutgers also stands with the very best in providing a high-quality overall college experience. If my math is right, 19 years and 3 days ago, and coming off a series of subpar seasons, Rutgers turned to a Jersey product, Greg Schiano, to turn the program around and reignite pride in Scarlet Knights football. He said two simple words which set the tone for the decade to come. It's time. Once again, faced with the challenge to turn around a football program and reignite Scarlet Knight pride, it's time. A new era of Rutgers football and a new era of national prominence for Rutgers begins today. There's already a buzz about Rutgers that hasn't been here for a long time. Today is a great capstone to the celebration, as President Barchi said, of the 150th year of college football, a tradition that began right here at Rutgers University. And like countless Scarlet Knight fans, I cannot wait for the opening kickoff of the 2020 season. It's time. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. First, I want to thank Dr. Barchi for your leadership here at this university. I know this is your last year, and we've benefited in so many ways from your leadership. I want to thank you for your kind words. It has been a privilege to serve here as the athletic director at Rutgers, and I will continue to work hard every day to make sure that we have a Rutgers athletics program that this university and this state can be proud of. So thank you. Saturday night, actually, after a long couple of days of back and forth negotiation, we docu-signed our agreement shortly, I think, before midnight. And that was the first time I realized that that was my work anniversary. It was the same date that I had been hired 4 years earlier. So, Coach, you and I share a work anniversary. We'll have to figure out what to get each other every year. Maybe we'll just go to dinner and we'll talk about the regular season. And in the not-too-distant future, I think we're going to be sitting there talking about our bold possibilities. But we have that in common already. Governor, you honor us with your presence today. You are the official first fan of Rutgers Athletics and Rutgers University, and Tammy is the official first lady. And I know Thursday night you're going to join us for our women's basketball game at the RAC, and I hope everybody will be there. And then I want you to put one more date on your calendar. September 5th, Saturday, September 5th, we play Monmouth University, and Coach Greg Schiano is going to be leading that team out of the tunnel, and everybody should be there that day. Thank you, Governor. This is a great and historic day for Rutgers University. We welcome Coach Greg Schiano back to the banks and his family. As Dr. Barchi said, what a fitting way to cap off our 150th anniversary of the birth of college football. Before introducing Coach, there are some people I think need to be thanked. First, our student athletes, our football team. In the face of and many of them, there are about 500 people upstairs watching this. I know quite a few of our players are up there as well. And I want to say to them, thank you. They represented our university as great ambassadors. They never stopped working. They never stopped playing hard. They deserve our appreciation, and they will be a strong foundation on which Coach Schiano will build our program. Next, interim coach Nunzio Campanelli. I think he's in the room here. I hope he's in the room. Coach Campy gave it his all every day, and he saw his effect on the team with each passing week, even if it wasn't reflected in the final score. In our last game, we owned time of possession, we outgained them, and we had more first downs than the number 10 team in the country, Penn State. A play here and a play there. Nunzio, thank you. I want to thank your wife Heather and your boys Michael and James as well. You are a remarkable family, and I'm delighted that you are going to be on Coach Schiano's staff. Greg Brown, chairman of our Committee on Intercollegiate Athletics. Greg, let's promise each other we will never go through anything like this again. You and I have been in the foxhole every day for weeks with unrelenting incoming. I'm so glad you could be here today. You were essential to this process. We were shoulder to shoulder as we've been since I got here. And Coach Schiano and I are incredibly fortunate that you will be chairing the Committee on Intercollegiate Athletics for the next 5 years. We've got a lot of work to do together. The three of us are going to celebrate a lot in the years ahead, but I would also be remiss if I didn't have a huge shout out to your wife, Anna Brown. One of the most passionate and giving people around Rutgers University. Anna, I know you're probably watching. Love your passion. Loved your support through all of this. Thank you, Anna. Our board chairman, Mark Engelson, and our board of governors, thank you. You are committed to success in the Big Ten, both academically and athletically, and you've given us the resources to succeed. That should be very apparent to everyone. We will not let you down. And I'm sorry, but I'm a lawyer, so I'm going to thank the lawyers. Our counsel, General Counsel John Hoffman, and his Associate General Counsel Alex Perez have been fantastic throughout the process, but nowhere was that more true than this weekend. They worked with me throughout the weekend so that we can have this day today. Their families gave up their Thanksgiving so we could do this. They are smart, they are talented, they are hardworking lawyers. They serve this university incredibly well. John, Alex, thank you. Our search firm, Ventura Partners, and its principal, Chad Chatlis, through every up and down, twist and turn, Chad stayed positive. He had the trust of everyone, and he served a critical role throughout. Chad, I'm pretty sure that the volleyball search you're going to do for us now is going to be a little bit easier. And to all our loyal fans, alumni, and supporters who displayed their passion throughout this process, sometimes quite colorfully, it is New Jersey after all, thank you. Your enthusiasm and your passion has been rewarded. Please indulge me in one final thank you before I introduce Coach. I love what I do. I truly love what I do here at Rutgers University. This search has been hard on everyone. We got a great result. My rock these past weeks, indeed my rock always, is my wife Patrice. So I want to say, Patrice, thank you. I love you. Now let's talk about another love as we welcome back the first family of Rutgers football. Greg and Christy Schiano and their 4 children, Joey, John, Matt, and Katie. Joey's with us. Christy's with us. I was hoping Fumble would be here as well, the family dog. Now, you know he's a defensive coach when he names a dog Fumble. You don't do that if you're an offensive coach. But it was a great pleasure meeting Fumble as well through this process. I'm going to start by thanking Christy. Christy, you know all too well the sacrifices that are going to be required here in the years ahead. You've done it already. You are the First Lady of Rutgers football. We cannot thank you enough for giving Greg back to us, bringing your family back to us here on the banks. And so I just want to say again, thank you, Christy. Coach Schiano. Now, I don't need to go through Coach's resume. You already know the historic things that he's done. We already know his work ethic, his relentless pursuit of excellence. He will rebuild this program to the standard of excellence he set when he was here. He will exceed those past successes, and we will all celebrate together. So I'm not going to talk about Greg Schiano, the coach. I want to talk for a minute about Greg Schiano, the molder of men. I've had many conversations with folks over the past few weeks, but 2 in particular stand out. I had lunch one day in my office with Ryan Hart, Brian Leonard, and Anthony Calley. They didn't come in to talk to me about wins and losses and how he's a coach and what he does on the field. They didn't want to talk about being a great CEO of a program and better than other coaches that we might interview. They talked about how they wouldn't be the men they are today if it wasn't for Coach Schiano. They talked about the way they approach life, how they treat their families, the integrity that they bring to their professions, how they approach everything using the lessons they learned here at Rutgers under Coach Schiano. Incredibly powerful. What a great testament to the effect of one person on hundreds of young men. The second conversation was with Eric LeGrand. Eric's over here. Eric didn't talk about how Coach helped him during that great time of tragedy. He talked about how Coach helped his family get through that tragedy. Eric had the strength Coach instilled in him on the practice field, in competition, and in the locker room. The LeGrand family needed all of Eric's strength, and they needed all of Coach's strength. Eric is such an important part of our Rutgers family. And Eric, you and I had a phone call last week. You were a little down. I have a sense you're feeling really good today. On Monday, we met with the team for the first time. I wish everyone could have heard Coach's address. Our students were sitting up, eyes forward, listening to every word. What they heard is that this team is going to be about character and integrity. Coach told them there aren't going to be a lot of rules. Everyone knows the right thing to do. It's going to be about family, F-A-M-I-L-Y. What does that mean? Forget about me, I love you. And that was repeated over and over in the room. And we talked about selfishness and love for one another, and how that love for one another is going to translate into success after success, not just during their time here at Rutgers, but beyond. Second, he talked about trust, being honest, doing the right thing at the right time. You could have heard a pin drop in the room, this room, our team room. And the last thing he spoke about applies to all of us as well. Every day, in every moment, we will be laser focused, swinging that axe as hard as we can at everything we do. And as long as we keep chopping, the results will come. That's Greg Schiano, the man. That's Greg Schiano, our coach. Now, coach cannot do this alone. All of us, me, my administration, the university, our students, our alumni, and our fans need to start chopping. I couldn't be more excited about bringing Greg and Christy Schiano back to the banks. So all of us, let's keep chopping and welcome Coach Schiano.